Welcome to the Senator's Lounge. We're privileged to be here, Senator Charlie Lassiter. As always, I hope you've had a good week.
Well, very, very busy week. A lot of us were talking this week about how tired we were. Maybe it's because it's the third week in session, we're just not quite to where we need to be in terms of stamina. But this was a very busy week because in the Senate, it was a deadline week.
Okay. Talk a little bit about that, about the process. And I mean, it has been just a hectic pace over the last 3 weeks. Talk about the process and where we're closing out and what's going to start.
In the Senate, a Senate bill has to make it out of committee during the first 3 weeks or the bill fails. And so people, it's one of those Murphy's Law things. We wait till the time is coming up, and we got to get it done at the last minute. A lot of panic going on, and so we had some agendas this week. We had 50 bills on Judiciary Committee agenda on Tuesday that I was on, and we were in there all day long. And then the next day for Appropriations Committee, there were 75 bills. So just a tough, busy week, and we're finally through the committee process for the first 3 weeks. And next week we go to the floor and start voting on Senate bills on the floor.
Talk a little bit, if you would, are there any bills that came through or any bills that were stopped that either you're very excited about it coming through or, kind of sad that, we didn't make it this year?
Oh, wow, it's all over the board, really.
Really?
There's so many bills. I think 250 or so we'll start dealing with in the next few weeks. But the bill having to do with allowing guns on campus got slowed down anyway, and that's probably good. There's a bill that came out of committee yesterday that would allow the legislature to take back its tuition setting authority. It has, for several years, been in the hands of the regents and not the legislature. But a slight majority of people in Appropriations Committee yesterday evening thought that the legislature might ought to take that authority back. That is it's going to be a very close vote when it comes to the Senate floor. I don't know how it will come out.
Sure.
I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to vote, although I'm on the side to not have the legislature take that authority back right now. That's where I stand right now. But I'm willing to keep my mind open and look at both sides of the issue.
Right. And one thing that you'll find up here at the Capitol is that people are here all the time sharing with you their ideas as legislators, what's the best way to go. And we want, with this program, of course, to encourage you to get in contact with Charlie and let him know how you feel about any issues that are coming to the Senate floor. And talking about that, we had a women's conference up here this week, and some local people got to come on up. Talk a little bit about that.
I did speak to the Oklahoma Women's Conference this week, and the women from across the state of Oklahoma, leaders in their communities. And we had some local people there as well, and so it's very good to speak to them. And it was an easy line for me, or an easy thing to start out speaking to them. What a wonderful year in politics that we have had for women. I mean, if you think about it,
talk about
Hillary Clinton became she just came so close to being president of the United States.
Yeah.
But for a few twists and turns during the Democratic primaries, then she would have been the nominee, and Barack Obama would have come in second, and she probably would have gone on to win because the Democratic wave that swept the United States probably would have swept her into office. On the other side of the ticket, Sarah Palin was the Republican nominee for vice president. So to speak to the women's conference up here was an easy thing to do, and to look at them and tell them just how important they are to the state of Oklahoma and to the United States.
And of course, talking to an entire conference, a small amount of people really, when you look at all of Oklahoma, in an advocacy group such as that, but each one of us can make up our own little advocacy group just by contacting you.
They can, and that's another thing. I like to pride myself and tell you all about the bills that and their ideas that come from my local constituents. And sure enough, I had another bill this week that I got passed out of committee that was purely from a constituent in the Tecumseh area, and it would prohibit, very simple, it's prohibiting telemarketers from calling you on Sunday. And it would also prohibit telemarketers from disguising their telephone numbers so that you couldn't tell who was calling you. When the constituent called me, I thought, wonderful idea. I filed it in a bill, and the Senate committee agreed with me, so that's one more step for that bill.
And just another great example of how laws are passed all the time from our own area, from your hometown, by the ideas passed on to those who are able to put it through the process. Charlie, thanks for working for us, man, and thank you for joining us here on mylegislator.tv.
Thank you. See you later.